Welcome back, everybody. It's Admiral Richard signing on. I hope you're all doing well. If you haven't noticed, it's been a hot minute since I last posted anything. I've been offline for a good while, well over 2 years at this point. So I've decided to make this video to explain where I've been and what I will be doing with the Amanogawa going forward. Hopefully very briefly. Don't worry, I believe it is all good news. I'm assuming that some of you may only want to see what the forecast is for the series, so feel free to skip this part, but if you want a hopefully brief explanation of why I've been gone so long, I will leave one here in a roughly chronological order of how everything happened. The first reason is, to be completely frank, my emotional health. After the release of the Eratus episode, I was in a bit of a creative rut and beginning to suffer the symptoms of burnout. I was having trouble finding planets I was finding interesting enough to cover, and even when I did, finding the motivation to write and voice the episodes was an effort that I found very difficult. Around this time is when I started getting into university work and was working hard at my classes. That fall was also one of the hardest semesters I've had yet, which did not make things easier for myself or the Amanogawa. And on top of all this, there was a death in the family around this time as well, which drove both my grades and my creative energy down even further. All this combined resulted in a bit of a lull period for the Amanogawa, which extended for a bit longer than I would have liked. In spite of all this, I told myself I would keep trying on the episodes and keep working to push an episode out, which in hindsight I shouldn't have done. I convinced myself that this was just a temporary pause or setback and I would be back to episodes in no time, but in hindsight, I should have just made it an official hiatus. I had plenty of ideas for episodes, but to be completely frank, none of them really invigorated or excited me. And even when they did, the drain from my college classes and also just for my emotional state at the time made it really hard to work on the episodes. However, around the summer of 2024, I did find a planet that was very interesting to me. By this time, the pressure of schoolwork had diminished significantly, and the planet I found at this time was a planet I was legitimately excited to work on. Creatively, it still felt like a bit of a drag for me, but I was excited enough about the episode that I wanted to keep working on it, and did. However, midway through writing the script of the episode, a couple things happened. There were a couple personal things happen in my life that I'm not going to elaborate, but I did have some friend group struggles around this time. Friends that were involved with the workings of Amanogawa, which did not make things easier. And, midway through the script, the Worlds update hit, which completely changed not only the planet I was working on for the episode, but also many of the planets that I have worked on in previous episodes. The Worlds update was an incredible update, revitalizing the No Man's Sky universe and giving us so many new things to explore, but for the Amanogawa, and for myself, it was a critical blow. Basically, my entire idea and script at the time was rendered entirely worthless, and to work on that planet, I would have had to go back to square one. This sapped pretty much any remaining motivation I had for the series, and at the time I just gave up. To make things worse, I transferred to a university away from home, which took more emotional and creative energy away from me, and effectively just diminished any desire I had to work on the series for the time. At this point, I just felt completely lost with the series, and felt mostly uninterested in working on it. By this point, I had been on unofficial hiatus for so long, I, to be completely honest, felt just kind of ashamed and didn't really want to touch it. And it's here I want to apologize directly to the community that has followed me for this long. I'm very sorry that I left you with little to no word on what's been happening and why I haven't released any updates while all this was going on. And I'm sorry there haven't been any episodes nor word on what's been going on with the episodes. And I want to be more open with communication in the future. If I need a break from the episodes, I want to be more clear in communication and to directly be able to tell you guys what's going on in my life and when I need a break. So I'm really sorry I left you guys high and dry for so long. All that being said, this video is not meant to be all doom and gloom. I do have some good news. I started watching Twitch last January, which bear with me, I promise this is important. And on Twitch, I met some of the loveliest communities on the internet, in my humble but also objectively right opinion, including a streamer who played No Man's Sky, which both got me back into content creating, and also began to reinvigorate my love for No Man's Sky and my interest in the Amanogawa Chronicles. Tying back both to communication with you guys and to my Twitch community, in the last couple months, I decided to start streaming, as the streamers I watch seem to have a lot of fun, and in the hopes of adding more things to do with the Amanogawa between episodes. Since then, I've streamed a fair bit. You may have noticed notifications for it here and there on this channel. I also opened a Discord, where I plan to communicate what's going on both with the streams and with the Amanogawa Chronicles, allowing me to share what's the progress for both subjects. Both will be linked below in the description. Alright. Now for the part you've all been waiting for. The future of the Amanogawa. I would like to continue it, of course, but I have realized that the format I was following was simply too much for me to keep up with. Previously, the format would be that when I found an interesting planet, I would detail interesting facts about every single part of it, and everything on the planet, the plants, the animals, as much as I could. And then some. Detailing details about every single creature, how they interacted, stuff like that, and then compiling it into a single episode. Those episodes went upwards of 20 to 30 minutes, which may not sound like a lot, but is a lot to record and edit, especially since I have real life on top of it. To put it into perspective, making an episode, I have to find an interesting planet, detail how each creature on the planet lives, which, as of now, I've seen upwards of 18 creatures on its entire planet sometimes. Detail as a couple of the plants, name all the creatures, then I have to come up with an idea for the episode, write a script for the episode, record footage, edit it all together, and then come out with a video. All on top of having my own life outside of this, of course. And just with college life and also just my own life and energy levels, this is just something that I don't think is maintainable for me. So, what I am planning to do is continue the episodes, but I'm going to change the format up a little bit. Instead of focusing on an entire planet, as I've done for the last couple episodes, I'm going to focus only on one or a few creatures on a planet, making much shorter episodes. The current plan is just to find a creature or two that I think is interesting, and maybe how they interact with their environment around them, and then turn that into just a very short episode I can put out. I'm giving a very, very rough length of like maybe 7 to 8 minutes, but how long it will be will probably vary wildly, depending on how much I can find about a given creature. This has a couple benefits, I think. First of all, I can get episodes out quicker for you guys, so you guys can have more content. This also shortens how much editing and recording and everything I have to do, allowing me to fit this in better with my real-life schedule. This also allows me to get down to what I really find interesting about a creature. I don't have to work on detailing every last creature on the planet, no matter how interesting or boring I think they are, or how many details I can or can't think about them. If I find or think something interesting about a creature, I can simply just make an episode about it and have it out for you guys in a relatively short time. So all in all, I think this is going to be a better format for Amanogawa going forward. I don't want to make any promises, so don't take this as such, but I'm hoping that maybe in future I can do more like in-depth planet-focused episodes, but those will be much rarer, and will likely be more of a compilation of interesting creatures from a single or even a multitude of planets. Now, I'm sure all of you are wondering when the next episode is coming out. And as much as I want to give a rough date for you guys, I've decided that that's just not a good idea. If you've been keeping up with my community posts, I've been promising that there's going to be an episode out in the near future for a fair while now. And unfortunately, every time I've made that promise, it's fallen through. The last one I remember making was that I would have an episode out by the end of last February. Obviously, that did not happen. So, just for the interest of staying honest with you guys and keeping up with promises, I am not going to give even a loose date for the episode until I have something out that I can give to you guys. So, for the foreseeable future, consider that the Amanogawa is still currently on hiatus, and an episode will not be out until I can get one out. I hope to release the next episode soon, and I will be looking into writing the next script as soon as I get this announcement video out. But as far as specific dates go, I will not be giving any of those until I have a solid half-edited video that I can give a rough prediction for. That being said, I will be posting updates to my Discord as far as when the next episodes are out. So if you want to keep up with that and when I'm going to be streaming, please join the Discord below. You don't have to, but if you want regular updates, that's your best bet. And if you want more content between then and now, please check out my Twitch as well. I generally do variety content. As of the making of this video, I'm doing a playthrough of Slime Rancher, and I'm also on a Dead by Daylight stint as well. But I also try to do No Man's Sky content as well to try and tie back into Amanogawa. In particular, I do biology streams where I try to discover new planets, and with the input of the community, I come up with names and details for each creature, and maybe even the plants and planets that we find as well. Who knows, if you give enough input, maybe your idea will end up in the next episode. In short, I want to thank you all for being so patient with me thus far. Hang in there. The next episode will be out as soon as I can make it. Thank you for your patience, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. This is Admiral Richards, signing off.